Now, who is Second Thought? Well, Second Thought is a YouTuber that you probably heard of once or twice, considering that they have 1.25 million subscribers. But for those of us who don't know, I'm going to go ahead and give it a breakdown. So, Second Thought is basically a beginner's leftist channel. He teaches people about, the simple parts of leftism, the intro to it, such as, why is there so much right-wing media? While people who are more educated, such as us, would know that because there's more money in right-wing media, not everybody knows that. They might figure it, but they don't know it. Or maybe, do we really live under capitalism? Which, of course, also, no, we don't. We live in a mixed market. Of course, nobody truly lives under one sort of economic system. Every market ever is a mixed market. And then we have a video that I personally think is based, and that is why hearing both sides is dangerous. Hey, I'm a big believer that the marketplace of ideas is pretty stupid, so I'm here to call based. I'm here to call the base department on that one. But you know what I'm not here to call the base department about? Russia apologia. Russia state apologia, man. It's always that with these people. So recently, Second Thought posted a video, or he was given money to post a video. I'm kind of leaning towards the given money, but he was posted a video on the CP USA channel. Now, the CP USA is exactly what you're thinking it is. It is the Communist Party USA, otherwise known as the Communist Party of Reddit or the Communist Party of Twitter. A bunch of people who, don't really do anything aside from LARPing and wishing that, oh, I wish I was in the USSR so that I could get lynched for being gay by Stalin. Oh, that would be so good. But anyways, recently he decided to post some Russia apologia in regards to the Ukraine war, which, me personally, I believe that Ukraine has the right to defend itself. Ukraine has the right to exist. But, Second Thought kind of disagrees. Let's see why. I'm a big fan of how it starts off with war footage in which you just cannot tell whose side is whose. But let's say it's Ukraine that's doing everything that is bad in those videos. Hey, I concede the point. Individuals can be bad, and individuals can be told to be done bad things. You're gonna have to prove to me that Ukraine existing is a net bad on the world, and that Ukraine being ran over by Russia would be a net good, not only on the Ukrainian people, but the world. Because we live in a globalist world nowadays. You're gonna have to prove to me that this is good for the world. And frankly, I don't think it is. I also want to point out the Call of Duty loading screen music that he used on this war footage, which, just fuck you, just fuck off. It's not a video game, these are real people's lives.
In late February of 2022, Russia officially began what it has since called its special military operation in Ukraine.
Man, I hate to be that guy, but we're like 10 words in, and I already have a correction. It's an invasion. It's an invasion, dude. Don't be afraid to call it an invasion. It is an invasion of Ukraine. There's no special military operation going on. This is a war. This is an invasion on a state trying to defend itself. Fuck you for taking the Russia state talking point.
While this event marked a significant escalation in violence between the two countries, it was not where the conflict began. Nearly a decade ago, the United States and European imperialist powers backed a far-right coup in Ukraine that overthrew the elected government and installed a puppet regime on the border of the US's Cold War rival. At the time, this was seen as a clear provocation by the United States, and an attempt to gain a foothold to launch an eventual proxy war in the region, a reality which has been conveniently swept under the rug in recent years.
Let's assume that this is true, which it isn't, but let's assume it is. How does that exactly give Russia the right to trample the Ukrainian people, to bomb the Ukrainian people, to shell the Ukrainian people, to murder them. How does that give Russia the right to do that at all, you know?
But even this thinly veiled threat cannot be considered the true beginning of the conflict. We'd have to go all the way back to the illegal dissolution of the Soviet Union to really understand the root of the problem.
Dog, what? I've never heard even the most delusional of tankies argue that. Everybody that knows anything knows that the USSR, to put it very simply, ran out of fucking money. They got caught up in the space race, they got caught up in the military spending, they just ran out of money, and they had to dissolve.
The undermining and eventual destruction of the original socialist project, the brutal and sadistic economic shock therapy that followed, and the fragmenting of what had once been a strong and united people.
Hey, I guess I should break the news to you. The USSR, in collapse, wasn't a socialist state. In fact, the USSR was never a socialist state. It was never a communist state. Saying a communist state is like saying, fucking, I don't know, an orange apple. It was never either of those things.
What tends to get lost in mainstream coverage of this war, or any conflict that benefits the imperialist powers, is the human cost of war.
I know, right? Maybe we should take a look at that and maybe do something about all the people that Russia is murdering for simply trying to defend themselves. We should take a look at that, I think.
Those who sign the papers and make the decrees that send entire generations into the meat grinder will never hold a gun themselves. They'll never lose a child to geopolitical jockeying. Their lifestyle won't be affected. They won't lose their homes to shelling. Their pantries will remain stocked. And their water will always be clean. But that is not the reality for the people being sent to fight, and the loved ones they're desperately trying to protect from pointless escalation and random acts of cruelty inspired by the hate and bitterness of war.
Dude, I like 1,000,000% agree. We should stop Russia from invading. I agree, based. I'm also a very big fan of the framing here. The people being sent to fight, as in the people who are not fighting for their homeland, as in the people who are invading. You slimy little bastard. Just say the invaders, you dip-ass.
As with any active conflict, exact numbers are closely guarded by the combatants. But there's no hiding all the footage that makes its way to Telegram, Twitter, and other more democratized online news sources. Conservatively, tens of thousands of people have been killed since last year, including civilians, as well as mercenaries flying in from Western countries to hunt their fellow human beings for sport.
So I did a little research on Mr. Second Thought here, and the people who he's talking about are the volunteer fighters, the people who genuinely believe in the cause that they're fighting for, the people who are willing to put their lives on the line to help Ukraine defend itself because they believe in what they're fighting for, and he is framing them as fucking hunters. You dumb ass, you piece of shit, you are a sub-fucking human.
We've seen horrific footage of homes destroyed, bodies burned beyond recognition, and what looks like evidence of chemical weapons. War is a dirty, bloody business, and it only benefits the ruling class of the involved nations. The conscripts shipped off to fight in some leveled city have no chance of elevated status. Their lives won't be improved by butchering their fellow workers. They will be lucky to return home at all, and most of them with scars both physical and mental that will haunt them for the rest of their lives.
Notice how he says, return home. He's not talking about the people fighting for their homeland, for the place that they have lived, for the place that they have lived for generations, for the towns that they know, the towns that they grew up in. He is not talking for them. He is speaking for the Russian oppressors that is trying to genocide them. He is speaking for the oppressive state of Russia here. He is not speaking for the people who wake up every day and have to fight in a war, who have to fight an invasion off that they did not want to have to fight. He is not speaking for them. He is not speaking on behalf of them. He is speaking on behalf of Russia. No, just point blank period. No other explanation. He is a piece of shit. He is a grifter who is using this leftist aura, who is using these leftist quote-unquote arguments and using that to forward a genocidal, homophobic, racist, sexist, classist state. You piece of shit, Second Thought. You are a garbage human.
Meanwhile, those at the top talk of democracy, freedom, national determination, and invoke some mythologized past to fool the peasants into thinking they're dying for a noble cause. They are not. There must be a peaceful resolution to this conflict.
I have a great idea. Russia, get the fuck out. That's the peaceful resolution. Boom, there you go. And I don't mean to get conspiratorial here, but isn't it funny how these people use the same exact words? I've heard the words peaceful resolution, peaceful resolution, peaceful resolution 40 million times. It is very funny how these people use the exact same words. They don't use synonyms. They don't use words that means the same thing. They say the exact same words. It's very curious.
We have seen in recent months that the United States remains the primary obstacle to peace in the region. As China attempts to broker a peaceful resolution, the US and its lackeys call ever more loudly for increased weapons shipments and greater Western involvement. Thankfully, this conflict has coincided with the sharpening of contradictions surrounding the US. The once untouchable global hegemon is losing its grip on the rest of the world. Countless Latin American and African countries have broken ties with the US and accepted more mutually beneficial trade agreements with China. Even those countries which the US expects to be loyal, like France, are expressing doubts that the United States is a reliable partner, and are beginning to shift towards the East. What we see as a result is a desperate attempt by the US and its staunchest allies to weaken its economic adversaries by encouraging proxy wars in Eastern Europe and Asia. So far, China has not taken the bait, and instead has stepped into its role as a key negotiator, recently securing peace between Iran and Saudi Arabia, contributing greatly to ending the war in Yemen, and now, with any luck, helping to peacefully resolve the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
And here we get into what I believe is the main idea of the video, and that is that fascism good, fascism great even, as long as it looks red, as long as it appeals to communism, fascism is good. This is objectively an argument towards authoritarianism, towards fascism, towards the states that have oppressed the lower classes, to the states that have outwardly oppressed people who they just straight up just don't like. The people who are Muslim, the people who are gay, the people who are differently colored than them, the people who are differently able than them. Fucking, if he knew a single thing, if he wasn't grifting, if he wasn't taking money out of RT or anything like that, he would have the spine to stand up and say, I am not going to support these oppressive fascist states. But he doesn't have a spine. He is a piece of shit grifter who uses these left-wing adjacent ideas, these left-wing ideas that beginners even know. He uses these to build up to a fascist, fucking totalitarian, fake communist screed. And that is all that he is. He is a fascist totalitarian that uses communism as an aesthetic to look cool to lefties so that he can grab you and he can drag you and he can drag you and he can drag you until you're just like him and his friends.
It has become increasingly apparent that as the US empire declines, it will become ever more violent and militaristic, a dangerous situation for the rest of the world, as the United States remains the only country on Earth to have used nuclear weapons on human beings. And they did it not once, but twice. The Communist Party of the United States, and the masses of people both here and around the world, must call unanimously for an end to US involvement not just in Ukraine, but in the South China Sea, in Africa, in Latin America, and everywhere the US war machine has extended its tendrils.
By the way, I just want to let it be known that when he says South China Sea, this is a dog whistle for Taiwan and Hong Kong, two places, one state, and one semi-autonomous province that have bravely fought against the fascist Chinese government, who have bravely put their lives on their line, their livelihoods on their line, their expression on the line to fight against fascism. That is what he is talking about, and he can't say it directly because he knows that even that saying that is iffy. So he won't say it, he'll just say South China Sea.
We must unequivocally say no to US involvement and no to imperialist war, always. Enough blood has been spilled desperately trying to maintain an economic order that does not serve the people. Capitalism and imperialism remain the greatest evils of our time. And if we are to secure a better future for all of us, it must be dismantled. And we can start by demanding a peaceful resolution to the conflict in Ukraine.
This whole entire video could have just been me pointing out the irony of Russia being a capitalist, imperialist state. However, I wanted to make some more arguments. I figured a video where I just say the same thing 40 million different times would be kind of boring. So I decided to mix it up. But my main thesis here, my main goal was to get y'all to realize that Russia, just like America, is a capitalist, imperialist, colonial state. That is all it is. The thing is, it is more aggressive than the US. The US doesn't openly get in wars with neighboring states. That'd be like if we went into fucking, Mexico, and we're like, this is ours now. Sorry. Special military operation. Sorry guys, this is ours. But we don't do that. We don't do that. Russia is an even more aggressive, even more imperialist state, and about equally as capitalist as America is. And the sooner that these people realize that, the sooner that we can discuss actual leftism and not just being totalitarianism, fascism, the sooner that we get past that, the sooner we can have actual ideas, the sooner that we weed out these fascists, the sooner that we pick these fascists out and we make fun of them and we ostracize them, the sooner we can talk about actual leftism. And I hate that we as leftists have not gotten these people and said, look at these fucking idiots, let's all laugh at them. I hate that that hasn't happened yet, and I hope it does sometime soon. But anyways, if you liked this video, leave a like. Maybe even if you really liked it, you can subscribe. That'd be pretty cool too, I think. And if you disliked it, leave a like, because that would really own me, and I would hate it. I would hate to see a 100% like to dislike ratio. That would own me so hard. I would be in my seat, bouncing up and down, going grrr, just mauling if you did that. So please don't do it. Nope, don't do it. But anyways, I'm sorry for the lack of content lately. To keep it real with you, school and work it's been hell. It's been a lot, and I just really haven't had time to upload or to stream or to do anything like that. So I've been focusing on what's important, and what's important right now is school. So I hope y'all enjoy yourselves. More videos coming soon. Yeah, alright, bye.
Delicious.
Late nights, never see the daylight. Stupid style, travel down the hall. This shit run deeper than a root canal. Slipping through these muddy waters, started with a D-rank. 801, I got it, about to march in with an E-tank. I'm marching with it, harvesting your carbon digits. Date me shit, chop me up, it's 06. I can make it razor flip. Quotient about potions, Raider Oakland.